All good. We are live. Good. I'm just gonna check on my phone and see what's up here. I'm not quite sure if it's logging. So real quick, let's do this. All good. We are live. Good. I'm just gonna. All right. We're pretty alright. So let's do this today. We're gonna talk about coding with AI. There's gonna be a couple of things we'd go over. Um, it just might be really awesome, right? To walk you through, you know, the early days. You know, we'll talk about a couple of things that happened way back in the past and like how we actually came to this point. I mean, in today's day and age, things definitely have changed, and AI has transformed the way engineers work, you know, the way we ship products, the way we do things generally in our day-to-day lives. And yeah, let's talk about it, but today specifically, do you know what? Okay, here's something. I'll tell you about it later. Okay, I was gonna tell you, well, later, alright. So, way back in the day, we had um GitHub Copilots. You know, was really doing a lot then. You know, the fact that you had this tool that could auto complete your stuff, could make suggestions, and could help you debug and stuff like that. Literally, that was, awesome. And yeah, so today we're gonna really talk about multiple routes to take when it comes to coding with AI. Because when we talk about that, it's really about, okay, um, there is extensions out there that you could download into your Visual Studio Code, and it would just let you, or rather, it's gonna have access to just one file in your code base, right? And there's extensions, or there's even code editors, AI powered code editors that would have access to your full code base, your entire code base, and that's really awesome. But I mean, things like Cursor, Windsurf, um, and Tray, Tray, TRAE, is another super awesome AI powered IDE, and it was created by ByteDance. So yeah, ByteDance is the parent company of TikTok. So, but for that one, you get to have a Mac OS to actually use it. Yeah, but I mean, thinking about all of these things, all of these beautiful, solutions we have in today's day and age, what could be the best route to take? You know, because again, for Cursor, you gotta pay for it. Um, what's the limit? How can I use it? You know, should I use alongside a task manager? You know, do we have any insights to share as to how far could we go coding with this IDE? And it's just run into some form of hallucination, like it's just go coin law. It's too much now. It just cannot understand the entire code base. And now it's throwing, unrelated sophistications, like unrelated things. So, we've done lots of tests, so what's gonna be the best route? How should we work with these? All right, whatever say, all right, you've been paying for Coursera for a while, and you think, okay, I think I don't want to pay for Coursera anymore. I want to use, I want to do something else. All right, you could do a mix, all right, because for instance, you could use, let's say you could use a model, a large language model offline. You could just download the llama, right? Install one of the models, maybe there's a lot out there called llama, right? And use it offline, and there's DeepSeek, there's these and that, but I've actually used it. So again, we're gonna talk about that. Should I do this over this? Should I use local models? Should I use online APIs? You know, if you go to open router, but again, it's what I just want to talk about. It's gonna be very brief, not in depth. Okay, just wanted to go live. I haven't posted here in a while, so I was like, come on, let's just do it. Yeah. And right now, I'm not even looking at the chat, so I don't know if there is someone watching right now, but let's just go on. So I think I should look at the chats, but let's just go on for a little bit. Anyways, if you're here, tell me your name and where you're joining from. Would love to know. Thank you. So think about it. With all of these tools we have, there is a lot out there, right? There is a lot. You just cannot fathom how much we have at our disposal. But you've got to apply the right strategy for your situation. All right, your situation might be that, okay, for instance, let's say you're rocking with JetBrains and you're using something like PHP Storm. What is best for that? Let's say you're using Visual Studio Code and you don't want to pay for Coursera. What is best for that? Are there any combinations? Should I do offline and online? Or depending on the kind of project, should I go off on Lovable AI or any of these online? Well, I personally think that if you do really want to code with AI seriously, you gotta use an AI powered editor, code editor like Cursor, Windsurf, Tray. Because using Lovable, it's great, okay, because I mean that company is grown very well, but it's not the best for heavy duty stuff, right? Okay, so there's a couple of things to do, but I'm just gonna bring everything down to coding with AI, local models versus online APIs. What you need to know. So I've just given you the background of how it's been from a while ago, when we could have just one extension doing lots of powerful things instead of Visual Studio Code. But now beyond just using extensions to bring things to life, now we use an editor, the editor itself, So yeah, you get scenarios like code completion, bug fixing, code generation, and something really beautiful for me is that the AI should be able to have access to the entire code base. And there is roles. If you're using Task Manager with Cursor, there's things you could set in place to just make your um make you know your workflow entirely seamless, you know, and then it's gonna know, okay, I cannot access this, I cannot access this. Um, you just set rules in place. It depends on the app again. It just might be something really simple. And we'll talk about, okay, if it's very simple, are there other ways to actually code with? Let's say, how could you use ChatGPT or Claude? Because Claude, Sonnet, you learned about the new waves, by Anthropic. But Claude is really great, really awesome at coding, really awesome, So could you just really use Claude to code up a simple portfolio website? Absolutely. What about a website that has some backend functionality? Absolutely. But again, when you're building things, it depends on what you're building. Is this gonna scale? Then you gotta say, all right, so I'm not just gonna post random screenshots of some Figma design or whatever imports there are, but I'm gonna look at it and see how they actually relate in the intersections in between the different components, and then explain those things. Not, it's very simple to do actually, but again, talking about local models versus online APIs, you know, um, I would say online APIs, for instance, OpenAI, Anthropic, Google, Palm, Hugging Face APIs. The pros here we're talking about, it's easy to use, of course, and it's scalable and powerful. And some cons would be needs internet, and you gotta pay to use it. You know, I don't want to say it's costly because come on, you just might be working for um, it might be a big project, so it's not really about the costs. For the API, except you just want to talk about business now and talk about the business nature of these AI companies. That's different. But again, if you're building something valuable and you have a tool that can actually help you bring that to light, why not? Okay. But again, I mean, think about it. Since the rise of DeepSeek, there's been a shift, a swift shift actually, in when it comes to deal with pricing. So that's why competition is very good. You know, yeah. Okay. Well, I know you get the point, anyways. So, and then privacy risks. Well, you just gotta know what you're doing anyways. But let's say you coding offline using offline AI. You get a Llama or LM Studio, Code Llama, and you're working. The pros, of course, you're private, you're offline, cost effective. Okay, but the cons would be it requires some setup. Like, okay, do I want to share my screen or not? I don't know. But I feel like if I start sharing my screen, I might take a while, and this is gonna really be a long live session. Okay, so think about it. Yeah. Um, if you do actually want to use AI offline, you gotta get a good, you know, operating system, like a good processor. That's what I wanted to say. Your hardware's got to be right. You know, your hardware's got to be right. Because if it's not right, um, let's say you download a llama and then you install code llama. Yeah, it depends on the one you actually get. 8 GB, um, let's say consumes 8 GB of your storage, or actually uses 8 GB of your RAM, you know, you gotta ask yourself how much RAM you get. Is it gonna be able to carry that? And sometimes like the when I used it, it was really slow. It was really slow. I've got 16 GB of RAM. Yeah, I need more. It was really slow, and I was like, oh my god. You just go take a nap. You go, you connect everything very seamless connect. Could have used the code. You could use continue, download continue. I don't really want to share my screen. And there is this other one. Oh my god. Do you know what? I'm gonna wrap this up real quick because I'm thinking about some things I want to share with you. It's just really about what's your budget here. If you got the right budget, you can take something. If you don't have the right budget, there are still things that you could just mix together and really have some awesome output as though you were using Cursor. That's what I'm trying to say to you. And for instance, there's a couple of ways you could use client, but let's get back to this experience when I actually use the offline. Oh my god, you could just write a prompt and just relax. You know, it is just gonna take its time. So you really gotta think about how to work. All right, it's very important. Okay, so yeah. Should I do a demo right now? No. It's gonna take a while. I don't want to leave some super long. So yeah, I mean, you could actually use it locally when you want to really do like, okay, you just want this stuff to be private. It depends on what you build in, but you know, you just want to do offline coding or some experimentation. Yeah, yeah. And again, if you just got the right hardware, why not? Right? But for production, scalability, and collaboration, you get to um go um use AI online, use online APIs, right? And you could actually use a hybrid mode using both of them, offline and online. But if it's slow online, you just you might just wanna forget about the offline route, because if it's slow, it's slow. Once something is slow, it's very tiring, you know what I mean? And yeah, because then you gotta wait for it to respond to you. A single prompt that even simple, lovable bolt AI will just spin up in like, splits of seconds. This one is gonna take its time. Well, it's just really all about the hardware. So, I don't really want to take questions right now. Do you know what? I'm gonna go online and see what's going on. I could just right here, see where we at. Okay. Yeah. What we're gonna do right now would be, I'm not gonna take any questions, but I made some videos talking about AI. You could check them out in my channel, on my channel, and make sure to like the video, drop a comment, that I would respond to later, and subscribe to the channel. Very important for you to do that. All right. I actually came here primarily because I was like, okay, haven't posted in a while. I'm not just gonna let a page be done like that. All right, I'm gonna come online and okay, who's that? Well, I'm gonna come online and yeah, talk about this, and you should subscribe. All right. Okay, that's very much about it. Thank you for joining live today, and yeah, to have a good one. Follow me on LinkedIn as well.